Real Madrid is going through a disaster moment in the league. However, it's still in the final and on the semifinal of Champions League, final of the Cup of Kings. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on with Real Madrid right now in the league, and let's talk about what's going to come up to Real Madrid possibly and what's the rumors as of today. Let's start with this program. Muy buena, mi gente, aquí nos encontramos nuevamente en otro programa de fútbol con Bambam.
Dentro del área, golpea Petit, Zidane y gol. Ha marcado Zidane el 1-0 para Francia.
Welcome everybody, and here we go. This is Fútbol con Bambam, and thank you so much for being again in this show. And we have a lot of news about Real Madrid, and there's a lot of stuff happening in football. This is actually something that is going consistently. This is amazing what's the news from one day to another, how everything changes. We know already that, we're not talking about Barcelona today, but we know how the big bomb comes in about his main director, his second in position, the person most key, has definitely announced yesterday that he's leaving on the 30th of June. We'll do another video based on that eventually in the future. And we talked about also Messi being suspended 2 weeks from Paris Saint-Germain for visiting Saudi Arabia. That's another topic that we can talk in another video. However, let's start with Real Madrid. And what we're starting with Real Madrid right now, even though Real Madrid has been disconnected absolutely from the league, it's been inexplicable. And this has got Ancelotti furious about what's going on with Real Madrid. This has been something that Real Madrid is going to have to go ahead and take head first. And what's going on pretty much with Real Madrid is that Real Madrid started the league very successful, actually taking over the league, looking superiority, being superior, being very exclusive. Actually, Real Madrid showed, even when they played the Clásico, they beat 3-1 Barcelona, outplaying them, outclassing them. It looked like it was going to be phenomenal year for Real Madrid. It looks like they're going to take over the league until the month of November started. The month of November, a month prior to be the World Cup. Everything changed. Everything changed from the end of October to the to mid-November. And what's happening there is that Madrid started losing points, started allowing Barcelona to come ahead. And actually, Barcelona, before the year ended of 2022, was ahead of Real Madrid. I don't remember if it was 1 point, but they were behind Barcelona. And then goes the World Cup, and comes January, forget about it. Forget about it. We know historically Real Madrid has never been a team that in January does good. But January and February for Madrid this year was absolutely blow my mind about how bad we did. Real Madrid this entire 2023 has lost 8 games. Something that is completely unheard of from Real Madrid. Especially when you saw Real Madrid start the way that they started. They didn't lose games. They were just playing. They were going out there. They were outplaying and outclassing every team. They were looking good. And it comes out to be that 2023 has been horrible. They lost the Super Cup of Spain to Barcelona, and Barcelona actually outclassed them, outplayed them. It was horrible. It was just disappointing just to see that game. Then it comes out to be the Cup of Kings away game against Barcelona. They lose 1-0 in that game because Madrid actually scored the goal on that one, causing it to Militao. But it was a game also that Real Madrid did not show the superiority of winning that game completely. It comes out to be that then they play the league. And this is where I think Madrid completely just disconnected from the league. They play Barcelona in the game and the league, and they got disallowed of a goal that would have put them 2-1 that game, and maybe would have changed the aspect of the game. It was actually a goal that was disallowed, and people question if it was really a goal to be disallowed or it should have been allowed. However, Kessie at the last minute in the 93, I think it was, scored the goal to get the victory to Barcelona, and that just disconnected Real Madrid. After that, we've seen a Madrid on the away games playing horrendous, losing the games, losing a 4-0 the other day against Girona, losing yesterday a 2-0 against Real Sociedad, where Militao definitely is showing how's he going down. Something mentally must be happening. Something outside prior to football is probably happening, but Ancelotti was not happy yesterday. They just gave him up completely. They won to Almeria, but they still allowed 2 goals to Almeria. So Madrid is not going on a really good path. However, at home, Real Madrid is not there to do that. At home, they're still winning. They're still doing their job because they know the crowd would not tolerate this type of games that they've been playing on the away games for some reason. Ancelotti tried to do some rotations, but I think it was too late because of January and February, he kept the same 11 that he wanted and he trusted, and it was not working. It was not working for Real Madrid. They were coming either too tired from the World Cup. They were not looking good. They were on a downslope. It comes out to be that he didn't give opportunity to young players and all the players that were on the bench. Maybe would have helped them in that time. Maybe could have anything, but it didn't happen. So now Ancelotti is trying to do that at the end of the season, and it's still not working. So I blame mostly the players to not be inspired about the league, something that I do not agree with because Real Madrid is Real Madrid. This is a brand. This should be consistently a team of 100% in every game that they show up. However, we know that the schedule has not been the friendliest. It's not been the easiest schedule for Real Madrid. Every 3 days they're playing games. It's exhausting. This is the year that they're actually going to go all the way to June because of the World Cup also. And it's because all the schedule needs to go on. We've seen Real Madrid right now is just going every 3 days. It's insane. It's insane. More players are hurt. We didn't see Benzema, Fede, and Ferland Mendy, Luka Modric, all these players playing yesterday. David Alaba because they're feeling the pain from playing every 3 days. Vinicius Jr. and Ceballos, Vinicius Jr. didn't play yesterday either because of card, and Camavinga either. That was because due to penalty of cards. However, the players who played yesterday, mostly the team was actually the bench. And then, of course, we gave an opportunity to Mariano, and he did not show up. Mariano is one player that has been the biggest disappointment for Real Madrid. Has been something that Real Madrid has very been unpleased because Real Madrid actually sold Mariano to Lyon. And in Lyon, he scored over 22 goals. And he comes back, and he comes to Real Madrid because Real Madrid was just selling Morata by $80 million to another squad. And it comes out to be that they said, well, we need somebody to come inside and be the replacement of Benzema in case Benzema gets hurt. And they bring Mariano. He scored 22 goals. He's looking good. He's being sharp. So everybody said, whoa, he's the great player that maybe that we can go ahead. Plus, we build them up from the youth league, so he's know our shield and he will give everything. Well, he came in and it was just like vacation for him. Madrid has tried to get rid of him in a couple of years. They even offered him his salary at another squad, and he rejected every single option to Real Madrid. So this year he's supposed to be his contract is due and he would not be replaced. But we'll talk a little bit about that later on when I go breaking down everything. Now, let's talk what's left for Real Madrid. Real Madrid in league has no option to win the league. They're 14 points behind to Barcelona. It might be historic, the loss margin against Barcelona. Who knows? But who cares, actually? If you're second or third, it doesn't matter. You're still not going to win the league. So that's what Real Madrid is probably being accused of, that they've known that, and they just don't feel the appetite to give 100% on the games. They're still playing to try to win, but they're not putting the 100% effort, which the opposite teams are doing, because Girona is playing to not descend and not be relegated to the next division of the league. And it comes out to be that they play with 200% against Madrid. And obviously Madrid looked in that game like it could have scored 3 goals and 5 goals in no time if they wanted to, but they didn't do it. And then Girona came back and just completely, dominated and took over that game. Having a poker from that, outstanding Castellón, who actually played a phenomenal game that day and scored 4 goals against Real Madrid. Real Madrid plays then after that against Almeria, who's another squad who's is not going to descend and be relegated, but he's close by. So he's still trying to play. He loses, Almeria loses that game 4-2, but it doesn't affect them as much because then they go the next game and beat Elche. So, Almeria is doing a great job. They're maintaining themselves. They showed competitiveness, and they felt good playing against Real Madrid and scoring 2 goals. But then Real Madrid comes yesterday against La Real Sociedad, who's playing for a champions position, and you saw the difference. Real Sociedad just dominated Real Madrid. At the beginning, Real Madrid was trying to look like they were going to keep possession. They were going to dominate the game. They were going to try to score. They were going to try to do things. And it comes out to be the Real Sociedad just kept putting pressure, and it just overwhelmed Real Madrid in that moment. And because the players are not playing 100% for some reason, it comes out to be that they just get destroyed. And we lost 2-0. Obviously, the first goal, Militao just did a horrendous pass to the back and just gave it to Kubo, and Kubo just striked it in. But then Silva comes in and just scores a phenomenal goal that Courtois has nothing to do because Militao was covering his side of view in that game moment also. So as you mentioned right there, the biggest fault for why we lost yesterday, and then Militao. He's been off his game for these last couple of weeks, and it's something that worries the Real Madrid because, coming the games that are coming up right now, we're playing the final of the Cup of Kings this Saturday, and we're going to need him. We're going to need him. And then the away game of Manchester City in the semifinal, he won't be participating, but then he'll be back on the next game. But he's a crucial piece of the defense of Real Madrid, and he's been for these past years. And Militao right now is one of the top 5 center backs in the world. So, that quality has to be there. So Ancelotti yesterday was desperate on the press conference saying that, he doesn't know what's going on with Militao in this moment, but he needs to wake up. So, that's something to be aware of things that are going on. But let's talk a little bit about what's looking forward for Real Madrid. And what we're going to talk is about what's rumored and about the renewals or the contract situations that we knew that there was 7 players where contract was supposed to be up, and there's a couple players that are being offered and being approached to see if they will accept to leave Real Madrid. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Now, let's start with the goalkeepers. And in the goalkeepers, I think Real Madrid is going to stick with the 3 goalkeepers that they have. However, there is a rumor that Lunin might want to probably step out and try his chances in another team. He sees how his opportunity has really mellowed down on the opportunity against Courtois. Is almost impossible to compete. And it's unfair competition for him, to be honest with you. But, it's just not looking as juicy as it was for him before. He's learned a lot, he's gone there, but he thinks he's still young and he wants to continue to improve. So he's probably thinking about better off being in another team. So he might ask to be loaned to another team. We'll see how Real Madrid takes this, but that's the rumors. Now let's go with the defense, because on the defense, we're going to talk about what's staying first for Real Madrid. And we know that Dani Carvajal still has contract until 2025. We know Rudiger, Militao, and David Alaba are stuck with Real Madrid. Ferland Mendy still has a contract with Real Madrid. However, Ferland Mendy is in a question mark, but we'll talk a little bit about that in a couple seconds. Let's start with the right backside, and we thought, all right, let me finish. Luca Baque and Jesus Vallejo, they still have contracts, but Jesus Vallejo is one of the players that it was being still in the balance if he should leave or he should stay. So we'll start with that. We'll start with the right back hand, and what we have there right now currently, we have Odriozola, we have Dani Carvajal, and we have Luca Baque. Those are the trio to cover that right back side, and we know that Nacho covers that side whenever the absence of either one of these team players go on. However, Odriozola has come to an agreement apparently internally with Real Madrid to be considered to be sold this summer. The lack of playtime has been something that has bothered Odriozola. However, Odriozola has been very professional, practicing consistently. Real Madrid likes this kid. However, he's not won the favor of Carlo Ancelotti. Maybe hasn't practiced well. However, in the games, he also has not been able to perform the chances that he's had. So, this is somebody who probably go on the ramp of exit. We know that Odriozola was in Real Madrid. He was given away to the German league. He was doing phenomenal out there. Real Madrid brings him back, but then he does not win his position in Real Madrid once he comes back. So Dani Carvajal is a player that is going to need help because he's starting to get injured a little bit more often, and he's not looking as sharp as he was in most of the season. However, it comes to Champions League and important games, and he's showing up. He's being the Dani Carvajal that we've seen in Champions League and has been critical for us, even though yesterday he just lost his head and got a yellow card for arguing with the ref, and then he got a yellow card from a play that, well, he laughed and thought that it should have been a yellow because he touched the ball and then it hit the player. However, the ref saw that he almost hurt the player, and he went with his cleats pointing high. So it came out to be that he found a second yellow card and got the red card automatically. So we've seen this type of Carvajal that is on a Russian roulette. You never know what you're going to get from him. He's getting older. He's not being as the best player as he was before. So therefore, Real Madrid is already starting to look for somebody to challenge him in that corner and probably take his position for the future. So Luka Backe, we know that Luka Backe was a striker and he was brought back. He was trying to be a utility. He was doing such a phenomenal job with Zidane back there. So when he gets renewed, he gets renewed to become the right defensive back with Carvajal. There's been times that Carvajal and Luka Backe has been hurt. So, Nacho has taken over that position and Odriozola, for no other reason, will have to take, sometime that position and has not performed, as I mentioned before. So one of the big rumors that is going towards that position is Reece James. However, Real Madrid has been, there's other names, but the biggest name that is right now sounding for Real Madrid in this corner is Reece James from the Chelsea. One thing that concerns Real Madrid is that Reece James could not participate in the World Cup this year due to injury. And the final path of this year, he's going to end the year with another injury and not been able to be active. So that's something that worries Real Madrid, especially with the story that we have received, especially with Eden Hazard, what has happened. It's not looking too good for him in that point, or the concern is it's very high in Real Madrid. However, Real Madrid is very interested in speaking with him. He's young, he's fast, he's very solid as a defensive back. And we'll see. He might fit in the schematic of Real Madrid. So we'll see if that happens or not. Doesn't happen in the summer. On the center backs, I think Real Madrid is going to stay with all 5 players that they have. We know Nacho. Apparently, there is a pre-agreement already with Nacho and Real Madrid to stay there. There was big rumors at one point that Nacho probably want to try his chances somewhere else. However, we know the history of Nacho. That Nacho, when he was on the late 20s, he was being offered big monies to go to the Premier League. Manchester United was interested in him prior to Varane, and there was other teams that were mentioning his name, offering more money than what he's getting in Real Madrid, and he declined to play there because he felt comfortable with Real Madrid. Plus, his family loves to be in Real Madrid. He's a Madridista since he was little. He's played with the Real Madrid youth teams, and then came out to be in the first team. He's always been the 4th player in the center back, right? 4th option, but he's always been an option in Real Madrid. It wasn't something that I think he was so proud of at the end of his career. However, it seems like he's not going anywhere, and he pre-agreed with Real Madrid that he will try to start and stay with Real Madrid for another year. Jesus Vallejo, we just mentioned that Real Madrid cost efficiently pays $1 or $2 million, I think is his salary. So it doesn't cost them much. So they don't want to leave him. And I think Jesus Vallejo wants to stay with Real Madrid, even though he has no play time at all with Real Madrid. So those 2 might be done already for Real Madrid. We know that David Alaba, Rudiger, and Militao are 3 guarantees that are going to be there. So that's our 5 center backs. Let's talk a little bit about the left back, defensive back that we have. And currently we have Ferland Mendy, and that's about it. That's about it, because we used to have Marcelo, and Marcelo was left this last summer due to contract was up and voided. But we know that Nacho always covers that position when Ferland Mendy is hurt, and David Alaba has been another option, and Rudiger has been another option that has been tried in that position. We know that David Alaba plays national team in that position also as well, so it's not uncommon. So Real Madrid felt comfortable to have, just Ferland Mendy back there. However, they did not count that Ferland Mendy was going to be hurt for so bad this year, and he's been absent most part of the year. The most critical part, he's been absent completely, which led Carlo Ancelotti to try to improvise, because when David Alaba and Ferland Mendy are hurt, and Nacho being overwhelmed by certain teams in certain occasions, Carlo Ancelotti had to improvise. And what they did was he put Eduardo Camavinga back there. And Camavinga, we have to remind that Eduardo Camavinga played in the final for French national team to stop the bleeding against Argentina, penetrating through that corner. And Camavinga did a phenomenal job there. So Camavinga came inside Real Madrid with this new improvisation from Carlo Ancelotti and has won that position. He's mostly been the number 1 guy for Carlo Ancelotti every time he has a chance to play big games in that area. And he's been shown to done a phenomenal job. You know, we know that Camavinga doesn't like that position as much, or at least he doesn't feel as comfortable as he feels as mid contention, which is his primary position, and in the midfield where he likes to play around in different areas there. And we know his dribbling skills are phenomenal, outstanding. As playing at the left back, we've seen the only Achilles heel that he has is sometimes returning and being able to catch his back with the speed and everything of other players attacking through that area. However, every time he has been to defend, he's been phenomenal. He's put the leg in the right spot, right moment. He's strong, he's tough, he's young, he's fast, and his dribbling skill is amazing. So therefore, Eduardo Camavinga has been an option, but Real Madrid already is opting for a new generation, and he brings Fran Garcia. Fran Garcia, we have to mention that he's a young player that used to play in Real Madrid Youth League. He got to the first division in Spain right now, playing for Rayo, and he's done a phenomenal job. Actually, the other day he scored a goal against Barcelona, and he was the man of the match in that game. So, you know, Real Madrid respected when Ferland Mendy got hurt. He respected on this winter transition. He could have acquired him back, and he said, listen, we're going to stick with him, but we're not going to take it away from you. We're not going to hurt your team right now. We know your team is fighting for a position to maintain in the first league, so we're not going to hurt you that way. So we'll leave Fran Garcia, but we're getting him back in summer. So that's an agreement that Real Madrid with Rayo, and therefore Fran Garcia will be back in the summer, and he will fight for that position, and most likely he will be the number one guy on the left back position. That will put Ferland Mendy in a tough spot because it will have to increase Ferland Mendy's options and desire to win that position back again. And then again, we know that Ferland Mendy has gone downhill a little bit since he tried to threat Real Madrid about leaving if he didn't duplicate his salary, and Real Madrid has declined that proposal. So therefore, it has not been a great relationship between Ferland Mendy and Real Madrid as a business perspective, but we'll see what that happens. But right now you're gonna have Fran Garcia, Ferland Mendy fighting that position. As an alternate, you have David Alaba and Eduardo Camavinga. So next year that position will be covered. Right hand side, if we get Reece James, Dani Carvajal, and maybe Lucas Vasquez, that will be another coverage in that area. I talked about the 5 center backs, where they're going to decide to stay. Let's go with the midfield. And the big question in the midfield is that midfield had Toni Kroos deciding if he was going to stay another year because he has that option in his contract, and his contract is due on the 30th of June, but he has the option to stay another year if he wants to, or if he wanted to retire. Toni Kroos said at the beginning of the year, I quitted on the national team. I want to dedicate myself to Real Madrid, and after Real Madrid, I will retire. I will not play for another club. So that's why the options were either stay another year or retire. Toni Kroos has seen himself playing this year. He wanted to evaluate to see if he still had the hunger, if he still had the momentum, and how his body was responding towards the year to make a decision if he stays or leaves. Rumors are that apparently he's already decided to stay with Real Madrid. It hasn't been official yet, but apparently it will be official once Real Madrid accommodates all his pieces. And that will give you that Toni Kroos most likely will stay another year. And then we go with Luka Modric, another older player from the team who's done phenomenal. And we call him Benjamin Button in the show because he's been like a youth. He plays better than a 21-year-old most of the time at his age of 37. So Luka Modric has done a phenomenal job in the midfield. However, he's starting to get injured a little bit more. It's obvious. They're playing every 3 days, very tough schedule, very high demanding, and he gives it 110% every single time he comes out to the field. So it's nothing less that he's starting to deteriorate a little bit. His body is starting to pass a toll on him. So Real Madrid started thinking a little bit, should we renew him? Should we not renew him? And Real Madrid has a rule that after 30 years old, your renewal will actually be for 1 year. It will not be multiple years. We saw that that's the reason why Sergio Ramos actually left Real Madrid, because he wanted 2 years and Real Madrid also offered 1 year. So Luka Modric has said already, and rumors are that he met with the high people, or the president and the people who makes the decision in Real Madrid, and has mentioned that he's declined every single offer. We know that Luka Modric has a huge lucrative offer for Saudi Arabia, and he's told Real Madrid, hey, whatever it takes, if you have to do a pay cut, I want to stick with the team. I want to do 1 more year. Please give me just 1 more year. And I have my resume, what I've done this year, to show you that I've not gone completely off, that I'm still belong in this game and I'm still in the high level and I could still play for Real Madrid. So Real Madrid apparently has given green light to renew him for another year. So that means right now in the midfield, we might have Luka Modric and Toni Kroos in the midfield. We already know that we have Camavinga, Tchouaméni, and Federico Valverde in the midfield. They're not going anywhere. So that gives good positions already with 5 midfields that we have. What comes back to us is what's going to happen, because in the midfield, there's already rumors about possibly somebody come in, but we still have Dani Ceballos. And Dani Ceballos, his case is a little bit curious because we know that last summer he wanted to leave Real Madrid. He wanted to go to Betis because of the lack play time that he was having in Real Madrid. Real Madrid did not allow him to leave to Betis because there was no money. You know, Betis wanted Real Madrid to just give him a loan, and Real Madrid said absolutely not. So Ceballos did not leave. He's earned his spot this year. He's played pretty good. He's come up and showed up national team-wise, and with the league, he's playing pretty good. He's actually showing up right now with the team. Ancelotti counts with him as a main guy to come inside and replace usually Luka Modric, which is actually the player that reflects closer to what his style is. And he's given a good paper. So therefore, you will think that Real Madrid already has approached him and given him a renewal offer, but no, Real Madrid does not have any contact with him right now yet. He's the only player that Real Madrid has not spoken with. And that is something that has worried Ceballos. But at the same time, it's something that maybe is just giving a signal to Ceballos, we're not counting with you next year if we actually be able to bring the players that we want to bring for next year. So Ceballos has a big decision to do. Either they go and approach and do what Modric said, go up there and say, hey, I'll take a pay cut, whatever it is, to stay with you in order for Real Madrid to renew him, or he would simply have to decide, all right, my time's up, I have to leave. So that's going to be an interesting thing to come up in these next couple weeks, because we know June is right around the corner, and by June, he should have a contract somewhere. One thing that are rumored for Real Madrid is that Madrid is apparently trying to bring back Brahim Diaz from AC Milan. We know how superstar Brahim has been for AC Milan, how much he's grown, how much he's doing for that club, how much that club really wants to stay with him. And Real Madrid has declined the possibility of selling him to AC Milan. So, you know, there is big confirmations that Brahim Diaz will be participating in Real Madrid. That might put in a tight position Ceballos. But then again, let's talk about what's going on today. We've known the rumors about Jude Bellingham, you know, Real Madrid being very interested in the young prospect, 19 years old, from England national team, Jude Bellingham, who currently plays in Borussia Dortmund in the German league, and has done a phenomenal job. He's very skillful with his pass, with his legs. He's tall. He has goal. He can shoot from outside. He creates a lot of play. He plays good towards his backside. He's a complete player. He's actually a prospect that aims to be on the top of the list. And it says so when Borussia Dortmund is willing to sell him, but it's willing to sell him for $150 million. Now we know every big club is right behind Jude Bellingham. Is interesting. We're talking about Manchester City, Paris Saint-Germain, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester United, Barcelona, and Real Madrid. Every big team, even Bayern Munich at one point was interested as well, but Bayern Munich stepped out of the race immediately. And then Barcelona, once he knew that they were not going to consider anything, you know, that is not close by to 150 million, he stepped out, because we know how economically Barcelona is hurt right now. So, you know, it leads us with the rest of the group. We know that Chelsea, it's not going to compete in Champions League next year and is struggling. Plus, they spent $600 million and it's not shown for. So Jude Bellingham, after they signed Enzo Fernandez, it's like almost confirmation of they're out of the race against Jude Bellingham. What leaves us is with Liverpool, Manchester City, Paris Saint-Germain, and Real Madrid. We know Paris has been a team that has been in and out. Apparently, they never presented a formal proposal for Jude Bellingham, so they're out of the race. They say that Manchester United, the same way, did not present an official. And we know that Manchester United already acquired, you know, Casemiro, and has spent a couple money also for the squad. And they got Garnacho right now, just renewed. So they most likely would not be interested in Jude Bellingham. So they're also considered out of the race, even though it has been confirmed that neither Paris Saint-Germain or Manchester United has submitted an official proposal. Now, it leaves us with Liverpool, City, and Real Madrid. We know that Liverpool's right up there. Jurgen Klopp is calling him. There's been for these past couple of weeks, there's been the rumors that Liverpool was ahead of the race. The Bellingham apparently loved the idea about joining Jurgen Klopp and the Liverpool and the squad. However, something has happened that he feels attracted about the project, apparently with Real Madrid, and that's what has been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, Ramon Alvarez de Mon, and all the major newspapers. We're talking about Daily Mail, AS, Marca, Sporti, Mundo Deportivo, Sport. You talk about it, ESPN. Everybody's talking about that Jude Bellingham apparently has come to an agreement to sign with Real Madrid until 2029. Of course, Real Madrid after this was blown up all over the news in the world, has come back and said, this is not true. This is fake news. We have not signed Jude Bellingham. There's no official commitment with this. We're still trying to be there, but we're still things that we need to be done. But this is something normal about Real Madrid. When they did it with David Alaba, the same thing happened. And then everything went silent and David Alaba was presented. Same with Tchouaméni, same with Camavinga, same with Cristiano Ronaldo. And we've seen this over and over and over again. The only two players that has not occurred right now that everybody thought it was done was Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe. Those been two disasters that has sounded this way. But protecting a little bit, I think Real Madrid and Kylian Mbappe did confirm pretty much that they had something with Kylian Mbappe. With Erling Haaland, it was just mostly newspaper presenting. And there was, Real Madrid really didn't deny it or agree with it. So you can take those two examples a little bit out, but they did come out for David Alaba, for Tchouaméni, for Camavinga, and now for Jude Bellingham. So that might be an indicative that maybe Jude Bellingham will join Real Madrid. And if that happens, this puts in a really, really, really hard position Dani Ceballos, because if you're bringing Brahim Diaz, if you're bringing Jude Bellingham, there's a lot of rumors about, maybe Takefusa Kubo coming inside for Real Madrid. Real Madrid is not going to spend $30 million to acquire Takefusa Kubo. Real Madrid rather Takefusa Kubo being sold from La Real Sociedad to somewhere else for $60 million, and Real Madrid gets their $30 million. That's what Real Madrid rather. I don't think Real Madrid is going to bring Takefusa Kubo, even though it's going to be a huge market for the Asian market. But I think Real Madrid is earning more money from Takefusa Kubo selling jerseys outside in another club than joining Real Madrid and being on the bench and then being with that extreme pressure that the Asian community will bring to try to request that Takefusa Kubo has more participation and more game time. So that leaves us in the midfield. Let's go with the offense because it's very interesting. We know Karim Benzema, his contract is due on the 30th. The rumors are that apparently Karim Benzema and Real Madrid has come to an agreement for another year. This is going to be confirmed once again, once that pieces that Real Madrid has already all in place and ready to just say all these players are there. That's going to come up in May, but it's not going to come up this week. So, or maybe it does. I don't know, but we'll keep you posted once that comes down. Now, we know that the Karim Benzema had a phenomenal year last year. He even won the golden Ballon d'Oro, the golden boot ball. So, this is a big achievement for him. He had the Champions League. He had the league. This year, he's been hurt a little bit more. He's not been able to be the Karim Benzema we saw last year. However, every time that is the crucial games, he's shown up. So he's taking a little bit of recess in some of the games. We saw him yesterday just say, you know what? I'm feeling a little pain, safety measure. I'm not going to play. But we've seen this. Karim Benzema takes games after games and certain plays. He plays one day and he doesn't want to play the next day. We'll see how that goes for the final of the Cup this Saturday and then on Tuesday against Manchester City and Champion. I think he's going to play in both games and he's going to do phenomenal on both of them. And he's going to be well rested because he's going to give this whole week for him to rest. So having Karim Benzema said, we know Vinicius and Rodrigo are going absolutely nowhere. What leaves us is with the three players that are in question right now. And that's Mariano Diaz. Let's just get him out of the way. Mariano Diaz, his contract is due on the 30th of June. Yesterday, he had an opportunity for 60 minutes, got the ball 12 times, didn't even do a pass. Didn't do not even a shot. He didn't do anything. He was just a player in there. So Madrid was already playing with 10 players, having him in the field. This is a player who's not going to be renewed. Madrid has offered him during the years to get him out of the club. I mentioned that a little bit earlier, so I'm not going to go over it right now. This is a player that is not going to be renewed. So that leaves us with Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard is an interesting player because it's a player that Real Madrid played $150 million for, who's paying him $15 million. And what it costs Real Madrid is $30 million a year, or 30 million euros. Let's talk about, the right currency. And it comes out to be that Eden Hazard has not given 1 year at all to Real Madrid. One good year, not been able to do it. He promised after winning the Champions League last year that this year was going to be his year, and he's not been able to play. Actually, the days that he's been playing, he's been horrendous. He's been neutralized. He's not been effective, and he's overweight. So the intentions of Real Madrid this summer is to try to bring and present to him the option about moving on and going to another team and selling him, because they want to bring other prospects to the team. And plus they want to liberate, that hefty amount of money that they have to pay him, about 15 million. Now that's going to be the problem. There's no other team who's going to actually get close to what Eden Hazard is getting right now. So that might be the shot that Eden Hazard might decide to do what Mariano did. No, I'll stay here. I'll be on vacation. I don't care if I don't play or I play. I'll train with you guys. I'll be in the best facility. I'll keep my physical, inspections right. I'll get all my injuries, taken care of by the best doctors, best facility. I still get paid. And if the team wins more trophies, then at least I can increase on my museum. How poorly a player coming from being in the Mecca, being considered in the top 5, top 10, maybe top 5 at one point in his career, now being irrelevant. He was worth 100 million euros when he started in Real Madrid. And I don't think he's even worth 20 million right now in Real Madrid, which is outrageous. I haven't gone to Transfermarkt to see his value, but I bet you it's got to be in the 20s. It's just ridiculous. I won't be surprised if it's lower than that, but, I think it's on the 20s. It's just mesmerizing to see a player who is considered to be a Galactico to then come and be a nobody. Because that's exactly, and I know that sounds harsh, that sounds like a big word, but that's what it is. He actually inherited the number 7, which was Cristiano Ronaldo, on his back, and has not been able to show up for that. A lot of people say, oh, he came hurt, and he got re-hurt in Real Madrid. But I think doctors have said that he's not been hurt, that he's fine, that they can't find anything on him. So it's psychologists say it's probably mental. So whatever it is, he's just not disciplined enough to maintain himself training at the high level. Toni Kroos actually said it a couple months ago. He said, you guys are blaming Ancelotti for not giving him a shot, but why not think about if part of the reason why he's not getting participation in the team is his fault. He's not showing up in the practices when he needs to. He's not keeping the diet the way that he should. So that might be an option. We've seen him how overweight he looks in the games. So he's an ex-player already. Real Madrid will try to get rid of him in the summer. I don't think he will leave anywhere. So I think we're going to stick with Eden Hazard for another year. And then that leaves us with Asensio. Now, Marco Asensio is an interesting position because Marco Asensio is 26. By all the years that he's been with Real Madrid, you would think that Marco Asensio is already old and he's outplayed. Well, no, Marco Asensio is 26 years old. But Marco Asensio went through a horrible injury. And it took him 1.5 years just to get back to rhythm after that surgery. So Marco Asensio finally is coming up and showing up a little bit in the game. Real Madrid did a proposal for him and showed him a salary proposal for him for renewing a contract. However, it is known that Marco Asensio has not been happy with the offer that is going, but he's not been able to find a big contract or what he thought he was going to find in the external teams. His previous manager came inside and started blowing up saying, oh no, he has like about 6 huge contracts that want to come in. If you want to stick with him, you're going to have to, do better. That didn't happen. Real Madrid called his bluff. And then it came out to be that he fired that manager and went with Jorge Mendes, who used to be Cristiano Ronaldo manager, who was fired also. But he's now Asensio a manager. Now, what happened with Jorge Mendes? Jorge Mendes not been able to find him a huge, juicy contract that he wants. So what I believe is, I think Marco Asensio is going to say, if I'm not going to be with a good salary somewhere else or anything, I'd rather stay in Real Madrid and fight for my position. They love me here. They know I can contribute. Coaches trust me. Might not be as much as I wanted to, but they still trust me at one point. I still got 4 more years or many more years that I can prove. And if I have a really good year, I may be able to increase my value. But I'm more seen in Real Madrid than probably going to another team and being on the bench all the time. So, that's something that he's going to have to decide prior to come June. He's better decide pretty quick. But Real Madrid apparently has offered something to him, and they're waiting for his answer. They might not wait long. You saw what happened with Sergio Ramos. Once they offered it, and Sergio Ramos said no, boom, they got him. They closed the door. Sergio Ramos was forced to leave and going to Paris Saint-Germain. So there you have it. You have all these things that are going on. And then in another news, you have things that are going on in the world, like Lionel Messi being suspended 2 weeks from Paris Saint-Germain. Fabrizio Romano and a lot of media already confirming today that Messi has confirmed through his father that he would not return to Paris Saint-Germain. So this is something that the Paris Saint-Germain is upset about, because we all know about everybody's rumors and talking stuff and everything, saying that Qatar was a big influence on acquiring him because of the World Cup. They were going to give him special privilege to choose and play whenever he wanted. They were going to give him economically everything that he wanted. They've been heaven and earth for him. And it comes out to be that now Messi has probably said, you know what? I won my league. I did my achievement. I got good money. I train enough. This is what I want. I want to leave Paris. I want to go somewhere else. So that has not been taken lightly in Paris Saint-Germain and with Qatar. And especially the drop that just spilled over the glass was that apparently he went to Saudi Arabia without the permission. And we know that politically, Saudi Arabia and Qatar is not looking eye to eye. And Saudi Arabia trying to put his league in the map, which Cristiano Ronaldo did that for them. And now they're offering a lot of money to a lot of players. We've heard Sergio Busquets, we've heard to Luka Modric, we've heard to Karim Benzema, we've heard to numerous amount of players, especially Lionel Messi, where they wanted to offer to make a controversy and to make a big challenge between CR7 and Lionel Messi playing against each other. So we don't know. And this is also rumors, because it's never been confirmed that Saudi Arabia originally, there was rumored $300 million in the compensation. Apparently, Lionel Messi declined that. But did he decline that? That's the question. So we don't know if this visit was because of that. I will assume that he just wanted to go with his family and meet Saudi Arabia for probably looking at the road of F1 track, right? Yeah. That's why he's getting suspended for 2 weeks. And then, of course, and then in another hand, we're going with Barcelona. Matteo Alemany actually shocking the world yesterday. And we know that if you don't know who Matteo Alemany is the main guy who does all the main negotiations and brings all the best players for Real Madrid. I'm not for Real Madrid, for Barcelona, I'm sorry. And he has just announced that he's leaving, and everything is pointed that he's going through the Aston Villa in the Premier League, which is very interesting for everybody. Aston Villa is in the 7th position. Aston Villa is a Birmingham team, and they're saying that that's not a beautiful place. So if it's not a livable, attractive place, and you're leaving the beach, you're leaving Barcelona, you're leaving one of the top teams in the world, you're leaving one of the biggest media, you're leaving something interesting is going on there. Are you getting my drift? We know that he's going to Aston Villa because there's more money than any other team that is offered to him. But to leave Barcelona has been a big, very big news. So maybe Laporta's not doing so well convincing all his people as he was thought at the beginning when he started with the club and promised that he was going to save the club. So maybe he's not going on the same eye to eye with everybody, and that's why they're calling themselves off. So this is something interesting. We known already this week also that Barça TV in June 30th is closing down completely. This is something also interesting because we know this is the famous palancas, right? With some of the strategy that Barcelona did to be able to accommodate and purchase the team that they did this year, selling primary access of their club to banks and investors. So one of the big investors in this one, we have to mention it, was $100 million to Raúdes. And who is Raúdes? Raúdes is actually the main guy who's broadcasting the league for La Liga in Spain. So this is also very interesting. I don't know how he's taking this, because they had to go to bankruptcy and pretty much close the TV station. So things are going on. We know about Caso Negreira, which is the second in command of the ref. Apparently, Barcelona was paying $7 million to them, and things are getting, every day they get more and more and more and more information. And Barcelona now is not looking as solid as it was in their protection, because as lights has been focusing more on other people, now they're starting to talk a little bit more things that they were not talking again. And I can tell you one little story right now, is the son of Enrique Negreiras, which is one of the guys who was supposedly doing the reports. And Barcelona, Laporta said that they have 49 DVDs, and this guy comes in and said that he's created only 3 DVDs for Barcelona. They said that Barcelona was paying all that money of $500,000 a year for the reports, and then they said that the reports were only $20. This is something that is, A and B is not equaling. They're not going there. Barcelona said that they acquired this kid, and they acquired this company since 2003 because they were interested only in the son of Negreira, because he was known to be on a good position. The son of Negreira says that he doesn't do option with Barcelona until 2015, that he did get involved a little bit in the 2013, and it was because his father was in a disability and needed his company to receive the money in order to not violate the laws of injury or injury, whatever it's called, disability aid that he was getting, and he couldn't work or receive money during that period of time, so he needed his son to get that. So that's another laundry of money that is coming up. There's tons of things that are not adding up, and every day is a new story. Every day is a new thing that is going on. Now, there was times that they were saying that UEFA is already going to agree to have them next year. Today, there's rumors that UEFA might take, legal processes and not consider them to go on. So there's things that are going on. This is not looking good still for Barcelona. There's tons of stuff. There's stories also that Jordi Alba, Barcelona is asking them to give up the clause that he's supposed to get a big bonus for loyalty on the team, something that is going to increase crazy. I don't know if it's like $15 or $18 million this year. And Barcelona is asking them to not get that and to give it up and just keep paying and allow them to sell him probably. So, Lewandowski also is going to have a big bonus increase for staying and accepting the big pay cut this first year with Barcelona. So there's tons of stuff that is going on. However, Barcelona keeps selling that they were going to get Messi. Now today they're saying that might not get Messi. It's not looking like a deal that it could be done. And then they're also talking about that they're getting Bernardo Silva from Manchester City, Gundogan, and there's like 6 more players that are being mentioned. So I don't know how Barcelona is going to be doing that. They still have problems with Gavi and Araujo. Gavi is the only one that is eligible to still leave Barcelona if he decides without asking Barcelona. So we'll see how that contract does. And Araujo is the only one that still has contract until I think it is next year. So, it's interesting. It's interesting what's going on, but we'll keep you guys posted. I try to keep this only focus on football, but it's getting more and more loud that I have to cover all these things. So I hope you like this show. Give your like button, comment, and share. If you haven't been subscribed, this is what my material is all about. I try to bring a little bit more story. We're mostly focused on Real Madrid, yes, but I do talk from time to time from other clubs, Barcelona. Rumors are going with the league. I talk about leagues, about the Premier League. I try to give an English version of every Spanish version show that I do. So, this is just for the non-Spanish speaking people also as well. So hopefully you're enjoying it. I put in big letters English on every one of my shows, so you know exactly to differentiate between what's Spanish and what's English. Plus, I have a folder that is called, English shows, and you can access every single English show inside that folder, inside there. Fútbol of Europa is everything's in Spanish. So I hope you're enjoying these materials. I'm doing a lot of things to maintain this channel up and running for you guys. I'm going to get better and better every time. Even my dictation, everything goes on. There's going to get better. So stick with us. And for the upcoming years, we're going to have fun together. So I'm glad if you stuck to the end. This is my show. This is Futbolconbambam. And I'll see you next time. Ciao.